And we're live. Padre talking Padres. We got two Padres here. The other
Yeah,
Padre just landed in San Diego.
yeah, yeah.
San Diego.
We'll see him in a couple of days. Yeah,
My granddaughter was telling me it's not San Diego. I go, yeah, that's how they call it. That's how they say it in San Diego. You better say San Diego or they're gonna look at you funny.
how
So,
you doing,
oh
bud?
no! I'm sorry. It was Alex. Alex. I said you
Uh,
better say
uh,
San Diego. My mom and dad don't say that. I go, well, they're saying it wrong.
yeah,
So you better
they've
say
been in
San
Raleigh too
Diego.
long. Yeah,
Exactly. I go, it's San Diego. So he won't do it, but if I keep pushing him, maybe he'll do it and
yeah, yeah,
someone
yeah.
will correct him and he'll be mad at me. So we had a terrible homestand.
Terrible.
Then we had the break with the All-Star break, which good because we didn't really lose any ground because the Dodgers are just as bad as us.
Yeah, yeah, and we didn't play, which it's always weird being a baseball fan. You know this. You kind of go 4 days without really baseball. I know the All Star game and all that kind of stuff, but it's always so strange to me. Over time it used to be a 3 day break. Now it's a 4 day break. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my baseball clock or what. I got up this morning thinking, okay, what time the Padres play? Oh wait, no, they got another day off.
Right. Yeah,
So
like you said,
good
it
for
used
them. Not so good for necessarily for baseball fans, but good for them.
it's
Because
good for the
they need the
Padres because they
break.
have a
Yeah,
lot of injuries. They get,
right.
Arise has that thumb hand thing going on
Yeah.
because he didn't play in the All-Star game, right?
No, he did not, and I can always appreciate these guys doing the right thing. Not playing when they really should be resting. It's got to be tough for him. I mean, I know he's been to a couple before, so but yeah, you'd still like to play in the Midsummer
Right.
Classic,
Oh yeah.
kind of thing. Now, again, I've told you guys before, it's not my big thing. I watched here and there on Tuesday, mostly maybe because there was more Padres in it, and but I still don't have a whole lot of interest in it. It's just to me, it's just an
I have
exhibition that just doesn't mean a whole lot.
yeah, I don't have Fox Sports, so
Yeah,
you go on their website, you can watch it free for an hour.
yeah,
So once the hour went up, I go, all right, I'm
yeah,
done.
yeah. But
So
good to see that our
I guess
guys
our
have
hope.
some good experiences, and again, for those who didn't go, good rest, and got a tough 9 game road trip coming up. I mean, this is a doozy. Got to go back east. You got to go play two of the highly contending teams, and then somebody you're competing with for that wild card. This is I always hate to use word make or break, but it's pretty close.
It is.
They do another homestand with this one, and yeah, they can start
Because
trading off at the All Star break.
you don't want to get too far back.
Right.
You want to be in striking distance. So when Tatis does come back, and there was some good news today,
Yeah.
um, he's fielding balls again. He's been swinging, which he's been doing the whole time,
Right.
and the whatever is hurt is his injury is healing. So
Yeah.
that's a good sign. So again, if you could hold him out until through
August.
August and
Yeah.
still be in striking range and have him come back 100% healthy in
Right.
September, that'd be great. But I think the offense does need him, and we shall see. But I was going to say in the All-Star game, I go, it's nice to see Suarez pitching and them talking to Big Poppy in the dugout. I said, yeah,
Yeah.
that was nice. It's nice.
Yeah, yeah. I was texting you during the game. I didn't realize you weren't able to watch the whole thing, but it's just the old annoyance thing.
Yeah.
They were trying to interview Scooble, the pitcher,
Yeah.
while he's pitching. While
I
he's
think he,
pitching,
I
I
think
just think that luckily they couldn't get connected because you could hear him or you heard him say that's really really loud, and that's the only words they got out of him for the whole thing. And I'm glad because it was the stupidest idea.
yeah, because the
It's
pitcher not only does he have to concentrate on throwing strikes, but
yeah,
the ball's coming back at him at 105 miles an hour.
yeah.
He can't be talking to some.
And
Again,
what
I
do you
don't
get out of it, right? I mean, what do you get out of these infield interviews? I just don't. What do you get out of it? There's
just talk to someone in the dugout. But at least
yeah,
this was Suarez's first All-Star game.
Yeah.
Say something about him.
Yeah.
You know, he struck the two guys out, right, that he faced. And I'm like going, and then Big Poppy's in there. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Again, I know it's just an exhibition game, but I could see if the guy's been there like 5-6 times, okay. I get it.
It's not. It's just not storytelling time, is what it comes
No.
down to. And a lot of times they start dwelling on one guy too much. And I think it was Profar, his first time up. It wasn't until about the second or third pitch before they started saying, "Oh, and now Profar, what a great story!" And you're like, if he would have, already grounded out, it's like, oh well, that was Profar. Yeah.
It just to me they
the interview stuff just is annoying. So
they talk about certain guys, and it's just like, okay, I don't know. To me, I was almost thinking today. I said I would be okay if they just eliminated it. I wouldn't lose any sleep over it.
Yeah.
You can still vote people in.
Yeah,
and you can have the home run derby, and you can have them. You can have the home run derby or whatever's going on, and or like a skills competition. But I thought the game was pretty boring.
It usually is, and it usually is.
The pitchers were far. When they're coming in fresh like that.
Yeah.
The hitters. I mean, do they really care?
Yeah, 9 relievers. So is what it comes down to. So anyway, I think we both agreed on the All-Star game. But so let's talk a little bit about the Padres. The first half, and I was listening to a radio show. This is not original, and one of the things they did, which I thought was interesting, they had 3 or 4 people in the booth and started talking about the Padres, about, let's grade, the Padres. And so I thought, we could take our swing at it here. No pun intended.
Well, I wrote the like outfield, infield, starting pitching, bullpen, middle relievers, relief pitchers, back end bullpen, manager, general manager, the bench, farm system.
Yeah. I mean, that's an extensive list, but let's go through them. I mean, let's go back and forth here. So why don't you start? Let's start with the outfield. What do you think about let's talk about the outfield. And again, I know you can't really separate the starters and the backups. To me, it's a full package because we know they all play. So, but go ahead. Start with the outfield.
I would say the outfield with Tatis was excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably would have given it an A because you have your team MVP is Profar.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I mean, he's come out of nowhere. Obviously, your rookie of the year, he may not get it, but he'll be definitely rookie of the Padres. Is Merrill, and Tatis was just starting to, be the old Tatis until he got hurt. I give it. I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B because, they're not full strength right now. It's not their fault, but again, I'll give it a B.
All right. Well, you're like my science teacher that never gave A's. So I go the other way around. One of the things that I would point out is, I don't know, is this the first time ever that all 3 outfielders from one team have made the All-Star team? I don't know the answer to that, but
I don't know. But maybe Boston when they had Dwight Evans, Jim Rice, and Fred Lynn.
Yeah. I got to give them a straight A. I know Tatis has been gone for a while now, but bottom line is they still had all 3 starters out there. I don't think they've been hurt by Peralta. Bryce Johnson obviously hasn't hit, but you're talking about a guy that's only got about 15, 20 at bats.
Well, it looks like he's going to be sent. He's going to be.
Yeah. So I think this one to me was my easiest one to give an A. I can't imagine having a better outfield than what we have now. And to your point, we need Tatis back.
Yeah, I mean he's the I want to say the veteran. Profar is the veteran, but the team leader out there in the outfield. Even though Merrill has become, he really takes charge now, where he didn't in the beginning, especially with Tatis. He you could they had that one miscue, and I'm assuming Schilt went to him. Look, you're the center fielder. You got to call him off.
Yeah,
because now you see.
I think that was actually Tatis and Profar. I think they really lended the hand in saying, you need to take charge. we're at your disposal if you need us, kind of thing. But you're the center fielder. I truly believe that because of just kind of the glances they gave to each other after that miscue, kind of like that's you. You didn't call me off, so
Yeah.
you need to. So
He doesn't just call him off; he puts his hand out,
right,
which you
which
don't see. You don't see
you
a lot
really
of outfielders
should,
do.
because even if you're at home, people are yelling, screaming. Yeah, you want to make sure they see you. So, all right,
Yeah, I can't
next.
argue with the infield. I should put catchers. I'm not going to count the catchers and infielder. Infield, you can go first this time.
Well, it's kind of a mixed bag. The problem with the infield right now is the defense has not been that great. It's improving. Part of it's Machado coming back. Kim has played a lot better defensively. I was actually surprised to hear that Cronenworth and Arias are at the bottom of defensive WAR.
Really?
Yeah, they're not good. I mean, as far as the measurements, the metrics, and all that kind of stuff.
Is that
Uh,
Cronenworth at first or at second?
I think just in general, both mixed together. A lot of it has to do with errors. A lot of it is the perceived, and this is where I don't pretend to understand the range and how much ground they cover and such. Anyway, I can argue with the Cronenworth. Obviously, Arias, great hitter, but I'm not going to argue with the defensive
No, he's
liability, so to speak. Bogart's coming back will definitely help. I think a lot of it's position changing. Having said all that, the offense has been good from Cronenworth, even though he's not up to his normal. Machado's been great. Kim's coming along better, and Arias is vying for another batting title. I think that all averages out to be about a B minus. I think they're a touch above average. I think they should be an A when they're healthy and when they're good, but they're not there yet.
Well, I think with his ever since he had that shoulder injury, and he took one day off,
right?
And he kept playing. I think this week would have to help.
Sure.
And then so hopefully he comes back, but he's going to be probably moved to. He's going to be the DH now.
Yeah.
So
especially because it's his thumb too.
I guess I should
part of your
hitting.
Yeah.
DH. Forgot the DH there. I'm going to give. I think a B minus is fair. I'm going to go B minus. Like you said, Kim really struggled in the beginning. I mean, what does he have? Like 11 errors already, or something like that.
Yeah, I think he had 5 or 6 in the first week.
Yeah, I mean, which was very. I think that was him trying to get used to Bogarts at second base. They didn't have a lot of time in spring training to work together, and again, it's really important for your shortstop and second baseman to be on the same page.
Sure.
And they weren't, obviously. Machado not being there full time hurt because let's face it, I don't care who you put over there. It's like Tatis in right field.
Yeah,
you're not going to get anybody. You're not going to get anyone to play as well as Machado does. And Arias, like I said, yeah, he's just that guy you can't hide defensively. He's like
he's not horrible. He just doesn't have the extra that you're looking for.
No, and plus he's not tall enough at first base, so that puts pressure on your fielders. They got to throw. They have to make a good throw, or he's not. We have thunderstorm coming. He has the he doesn't. He's made some plays where he stretches, but he can only. It's not like having Freddie Freeman over there,
right?
Where Freddie's covered.
6'5", yeah,
whatever he is. That's why I think next year it's really important they get themselves a real first baseman, or just keep Cronenworth there, or shift Bogarts over there. But again, you got to if these guys are all under contract, you got to get their positions down. Okay, this is it. This is where you're playing. You're going to start. That's where you're starting. That's where you're going to end up moving them back and forth. It's too difficult. But yeah, B minus is fair.
All right.
Let's go to catcher.
Go at it, man.
Earlier in the year, all three of us were saying you've got to get rid of Higgy. He can't
trade for somebody. Yeah,
he's terrible defensively. Campy's okay, but then Campy he changed his style of his swing. I don't know what he did. And then he got hurt and hit a home run in the last game, opposite field, looked like the old Campy. Higgy had a great stretch. Can he keep it going? That's a look. There's a couple. There's like 3 or 4 players you're like going, well, I hope they keep it going.
Right, right.
It's a long season, and like I said, the production we got from Profar. If you would have told me that was what he had at the end of the year, I go, all right, that was a great signing.
Right, right.
But we're still halfway point, and Merrill, he's a rookie, but I'm gonna give them. It's tough because Higgy's played so well, but I'll give a B minus.
All right. Well, much like you said, I think the thing with me is it's definitely the difference between Campy's first month and Higgy's since June.
Yeah.
If you could have had that as just one solid piece, that would have been great. But the outsides on the other flip side of both of those were abysmal. Not just bad, abysmal. You got to remember, Higgy was hitting $120, I believe it was, before June.
It was something like that.
It was bad. And Campy, who started off like a ball of fire for about the first 3 weeks, he rode that all the way for another 3 weeks before his average started plummeting down to reality. And then past
at one
that,
point was 1-40, or it was some ridiculous stat.
The catching to me has been okay. Higgy seems to have conquered the knuckleball to a better degree than it first started, that's fine.
Fair, yeah. That's hard. I mean, you're not used to catching knuckleballer.
Right. It's hard to get great catchers. Baseball struggles with that. I mean, you can count on one hand how many just guys really can take over a game, kind of guys like Rio Malto or Salvador Perez and guys like that. So having said that, I think we're lucky to have at least 2 options. They may not be the greatest, but I'm still going to go C minus. I think we are truly. I think we're going to need something between now and Solace. I think it's not going to work with what we got. Yeah.
If Higgy didn't save us, I probably would have gone F.
Yeah. No, it's.
But yeah, again, why Major League, I think why they struggled for catcher is because kids don't want to play. Nobody wants to play catcher.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Odds are you're going to have a short career. It's demanding. You have to be mentally into the game on every single pitch. It's not like playing the outfield where you go, oh, that girl's kind of hot. You can't do that as catcher. You can't be. You should be daydreaming during the game, but let's face it, we all play the outfield.
Right.
It's like, you could sit out there for 5 innings and nothing comes your way. You just look around. But
no, it's an engaging position, but it has its mental tolls, has its physical tolls too. Getting up and down and up and down and up and down and throwing the ball more than any pitcher out there.
Well, then you get foul tips. It hits off your leg where there's no padding. Right. I'm telling you, you can tell why they wear you have to, in this day and age, you have to have 2 catchers.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the great ones like Johnny Bench. He was great for 10, 11 years, maybe 12.
And had to go play third base because he just couldn't. His knees couldn't take it anymore.
No, it's a painful position.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's an important one. But yeah, I could see C minus, but I'm going B minus because Higgy had that stretch where he just won so many games for us. Next up, DH.
Yeah, I'm going to take a pass on this because I don't think the Padres really have a DH. It's been rotated around so much. And quite honestly, when did Machado get his hits, when he DH'd or when he was playing third? I don't have that kind of a memory. The stats that I hear is the stats I hear is that the Padres are at the middle of the pack with DH. So if that's a C, then I'll call it a C. But
probably not a lot of power from there either, because Solano DH is a lot, Arise DH is a lot.
I think everybody's DH'd. It's like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's not like last year, for good or bad, that we had a couple of DHs, and you could really sit there and say, okay, it's Carpenter, it's Cruz, that's our DH. This year, that was enough. But as far as trying to grade it, I'm kind of at a loss to really just decipher between the stats. So,
all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Next, we'll go. Let's see, starting pitching.
Go at it.
This one's tough because you lost the 2 guys you were counting on. Musgrove and Darvish to eat. We talked about last week. Their innings, they're not just guys who win games. They go 6 and 7 innings, which gives your bullpen that break, because the bullpen, let's face it, a lot of these guys, especially with the pitch count, we're lucky if they go 5 innings. It's like having 5 Blake Snells on the team. Except for Blake Snell last year, he was at least shutting them out the first 5 innings. But King has been good. Waldron's been really good. I mean, he's got to be the surprise of the pitching staff. And then you have Cease, who last game was amazing. The second game before that, he was good. If we can have this good Cease, obviously that would puts the grade way up. Yeah. If you can get Darvish or Musgrove, they say Musgrove's on track to be back in August.
All right,
but we shall see. I hope it's not one of those things where he has to have surgery after all this, because then he's going to be lost for all next year. But I'll give it a B minus.
Okay.
I'm grading on a curve. No pun intended.
Well, it is tough, two your best guys are injured, as you said. I kind of tried to break this into the who's pitching and who's not, and I can't. It's kind of like a no grade possible for Darvish, because he hasn't pitched enough. Quite honestly, Musgrove was an F. I mean, the times he has pitched, he's been horrible.
Well, he couldn't throw his curveball.
Well, and the bottom line is, though, is results are results. And so I'm not grading on the person or the heart or the, what they mean to the team. But as far as his performance, it was an F. I mean, how can you have a 7 ERA and call it successful?
A lot of those runs were in the first couple innings.
Yeah. And Darvish was, a little bit of hit and miss. He had a couple of good games, but nothing Darvish-like. I mean, we're just used to better. Yeah. C's 50-50. I got to call it a C, because when he's on top of his game, which he has been, he's an A plus. I mean, he's just lights out. But his bad games have been really bad, and so you're not. I don't like that. I would rather be less on the good side and bring more to the bring the bad side up a little bit. It tells me something that, in all honesty, I would have never imagined this, but the 2 most consistent pitchers have been King and Waldron. And honestly, I would give both of those guys an A, if not an A plus, because of what they brought to the team, especially King. Yeah, especially King.
They don't get a lot of run support.
Right. And I think Vasquez, quite honestly, except for the first 2 starts, I believe it was, he's pitched very admirable. And Mazur was just overmatched. Yeah. So I unfortunately, there's been too much of the not giving our guys a chance to win, because that's what a starting pitcher does. He gives your team a chance to win. And too many times they've been giving up 3 and 4 runs in the first couple of innings, and then they settle down. Waldron's actually a good example of that. I think his ERA in the first 2 innings is like 6. But his ERA after that is 2. Yeah, I mean, it's very extreme, and you got to figure out, does he need to go throw more pitches in the bullpen to get the knuckler going, or whatever it might be. But so I'm not necessarily a tough grader, but C minus. This pitching has got to get better and get rid of all the excuses, get rid of all the injuries. The other teams don't care. You're throwing the guy out there. He's got to do his job. If he doesn't do it, then you're graded on your performance.
Well, Vasquez, I was shocked they took him out after 5. He was only at 74 pitches. And I was like, why are we taking him out?
I think, though, Jack, that we've got between him and Waldron and King, we've got, and, Mazur, whatever, we got a bunch of guys that they're worried about pitch counts, man. I mean, for the season, because these are guys, so I think that's part of it, and it's got. I mean, as you're a manager, it's got to kill you. I mean, like when he left CSUN that day, I think you were right. It's like, the bullpen's kind of gas. Maybe I could sneak another inning out, and boom, there it went. So the old damned if you do, damned if you don't, kind of thing, and that's what a manager
people
gets
go.
paid
He's still
for,
throwing 99. I go, it's not the speed, it's the low.
Right.
You start getting tired, your location, you start drifting more over to the middle of the
Right.
plate, and that's what happened. Yeah, it's just I know it's probably but I was like going, God, if you could just get through 6 innings, then the bullpen doesn't need
Right.
you don't need that extra guy to come in and get through it. And Kolek, who's been money for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, just gave up that 3-run shot with 2 outs. I swear to God, I don't have the stat in front of me. I say this every time. They've had to have given up the most runs with 2 outs. I mean, it happens every single time. But
let's transition to that good old middle relief.
All right, yeah, middle relief.
F.
Yeah, I got
it. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
it's been horrible, just absolutely. And so when we say middle relief for our audience, we're translating anything that happens before the 8th inning, from 7th inning before. It's been just abysmal. It's been horrible. We've watched so many games go down the toilet because we can't get anybody out.
No.
And to your point, not just the 2 out, but coming in and giving up the runs that are on the base. We've done that so many times this year. I know you can't be perfect, but
you have De Los Santos, you have Matsui, you have Kolek, who's pitched. He has pitched well of late, but he struggled in the beginning, and they had that game against Kansas City. Then you have Peralta, who's now in the IL. I mean, it's just one. It's like I said, if we have no confidence in him, Schilt's like going, oh crap.
Yeah.
And you have these young pitchers that have, again, that's why I said not having Darvish and Musgrove with their typical 6-7 innings hurts, because you have to bring these guys in. And it's like, I mean, I really honestly thought that Preller did offseason. I go, all right.
Yeah.
That bullpen is solid, but it again, it's an F.
Yeah. I always imagine I have this image in my mind that Schilt's down on the dugout steps rolling a dice to figure out which reliever to bring in that day. No, and the thing is everybody that you've brought up as far as the middle relief has had good stretches. They haven't sucked 100% of the time, but it's too much. It's just too much, and it's in big ways. It's the home run ball. It's again, you can't, you bring a guy in with men on first and second and 2 out, and they give up a hit, and then they get the out, and you're like, could have used that pitch before, but oh well. Yeah.
Well,
middle relief has definitely been, to me, the most depressing and most agonizing thing about the Padres this year.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm not comfortable watching them.
Yeah.
And you look at the teams with Padres, obviously we haven't had a lot of success through the years. But if you look at the teams that have been successful, it's that bullpen, and it's those middle guys. They bring in, then they pitch an inning, boom, boom, boom. Then you get to Hoffman or Gossage or whoever it was at the time, or even Fingers. But those teams weren't good. But you have to have guys that again, they're not going to pitch great every time. They're going to have that bad game,
right? But
you can't. I mean, it's just like De Los Santos. I mean, it's like. At the beginning, he was pitching great. Now it's like, I know he's going to come and give up a home run.
Yeah. Start lighting up the cannon. Yeah.
He's like, what's it that Luis Garcia we had for 3 years? The body language, it was just like, I don't want to be out here. Don't let. And Peralta has the same, when he was pitching, he had that same look. Like, and I thought he was money for the Yankees.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
Let's turn to the back end of the bullpen. It's my turn. I'm going to give it an A. I mean, I don't know how I could not give it an A. Alvarez, Morihone, and of course Suarez.
You mean Estrada?
Estrada.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't saying it right. But to me, they've had a few. But typical, what's going to happen can't be perfect every time. But yeah, if we had 3 more of them in the bullpen, Padres would be ahead of the Dodgers.
Yeah. So I think it's a pretty easy call to give them an A. Obviously Suarez going to the All-Star game, and not that the All-Star game is the proof of the pudding, so to speak, but obviously he's one of the best relievers in the game right now as far as closers. Estrada's been a godsend. I mean, here's a guy that just found himself, and that's for us Padre fans, that's almost like every year. Every year we find these guys off of the proverbial woodpile, and they become studs. I mean, guys like Heath Bell, come to mind.
Oh
Where
yeah,
and
Kirby Yates.
and Morahone, I think once he got healthy, I think Morahone the beginning of the year was struggling a little bit, but I think a lot of that has got to be in the back of his mind, like, okay, am I going to make it through this year? Because he's about 3 or 4 years now where it's just like he gets hit,
and
he gets hurt, he gets hurt.
23 or 24.
Yeah. So
it's not his stuff.
No,
it's his health.
He's good. So yeah, to me, a very simple A. And let's hope that they keep going that way. We need them. Yeah.
Well, they brought that kid up. He's like 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah.
Andrews? No.
Austin Davis.
No, I'm not talking about the left-hander. I'm talking about he just pitched Sunday.
This is what happens when you're off baseball for 4 days. It's like
he pitched Sunday and he struck out the side, but he gave up a walk and a hit in between.
No, I'm picturing him, but
his family was there. They were interviewing his mom, and I'm like going, man, she should be his agent. But I guess he's always been a Padre fan because they grew Modesto, I think, somewhere like that. Anyway, I know it's just one game, but hopefully he can. He had a bad start in the minors, but he's at El Paso, and anytime
everybody in El Paso's got an ERA that floats above 5. So yeah.
So we shall see it. But also Estrada, he's lost 17 pounds, and they can't figure out why he's losing weight.
Yeah,
and 17 pounds may not. I mean, I'd like to lose 17 pounds, but when you're pitching, losing 17 pounds is a lot.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we got ourselves down to like a 61 game stretch now. So now's the time for everybody to come along.
And they have a lot of time off. So that we
got more off days than I think any team in baseball left. Throw out the excuses. It's time to take care of those tough road trips. It's time to take care of some of these home stands and give the fans back in it and get some momentum going.
Because I look at the teams, who most likely will make the playoffs, and the only team that scares me is the Phillies.
The Phillies, and to a lesser degree, the Braves. The Dodgers would normally, and I still look. I worry about anybody you put in front of us. I mean, But no, as far as overpowering, right now the Phillies got to scare everybody. I mean, as far as good as they're playing. But look, we've seen this picture before. Just because you're playing good half of a year doesn't mean you're going to play good the other half of the year. And quite frankly, I think the Phillies have skated through the injury, especially their pitching. Like they've really not lost anybody for quite a while. So, if I had Suarez and Wheeler and Nola going, on their rotation, and you throw in their middle relief and bullpen, it's great. But you know what? You give me the Padres, and maybe we don't match up there, but I would take my Padres healthy against them. But that's the health thing.
Well, you got to have Bogarts 100% and Tatis 100%.
Yeah.
And then I'm right with you. But the Phillies, like I said, right now they're just clicking on all cylinders. And the Dodgers are, let's face it, the Dodgers. I mean, you look at that pitching staff. I don't think that in my lifetime,
they're hurt more than we are.
In my lifetime, they haven't had that bad of a pitching staff. I mean, they lost 2 games to the Tigers. One, they gave up 5 runs in the 9th to tie it, and 2 they lost in the extra innings. That's not Dodger baseball.
No, and look, I'm never going to cry a tear for anything that happens to the Dodgers, but it is. I mean, that's baseball. That's been said 100 times. Your health is just almost as important as performance, and if you can't have your guys out there, I mean, they've got the same, I think we mentioned this earlier, we got the same problem we had last year. The first 3 or 4 guys in our lineup are awesome. They're fantastic. Problem is they got 5 through 9 that are just like, wow. I mean, like, wow, 150, 180, not even Mendoza line. So
But what's on Dodger like though? They don't usually they just call someone up from the minors.
yeah,
Like a
I agree.
pitcher. Where'd the hell that guy come from? Where that? And they haven't been able to do that.
Well, the guys that they have not performed all that well either. I mean,
Yeah.
Gavin
Well,
Stone
that's what I'm
looked
saying
like
though.
a
In the past,
bat
they
out of
did.
hell. Yeah.
They
No,
call
you're
up
right.
somebody.
You're right.
You go.
You're right.
But you lose Dustin May. Bueller. He's off in Florida somewhere training by himself.
Yeah.
Trying to.
Kershaw.
Yeah. Kershaw
Yeah.
is kind of trying to come back, but like with Bueller, he might be done.
Yeah.
Two Tommy
No,
John.
and it's a shame because I
Yeah,
feel for them
because
as human beings because I mean, that's
I don't want to ever see anyone get hurt.
no, because I used to just marvel at Bueller the way he just controlled himself and big Hulk that he is and but yeah, that's the Dodgers. So,
But he's lost 3 or 4 miles off his fastball and stuff like that. That's why if I'm the Dodgers, I don't let Ohtani pitch.
Yeah.
Next year, he's too valuable offensively. But again, not my call. Did we talk about the bench yet?
No, that's the last one we got before we get into the management portion.
Yeah.
Bench. Well, so the bench has kind of been all back and forth and everything here. We got. I just don't think we've got that strong of a bench. And again, bench is defined by guys who don't play, but with all the injuries we've had, it's almost hard. It's kind of like the DH thing. It's almost hard to determine, like, well, who's really the bench?
Right.
Azakar got sent down early. We've talked about Peralta and Bryce Johnson. Peralta, okay. Bryce Johnson, nothing. The infield, you've got Solano, who came in later. Before him, it was Tyler Wade and guys like Paulie and Rosario. I don't think we've got. I think Solano, if you wanted to clarify him or call him the bench, is probably your only A. Everything else past that, it's like, I'm not against these guys, but I don't see anything in particular. I don't think we have a particularly long or strong bench. So I'm going to say a C-.
I like Tyler Wade, but not as a starter. I like he's fast, great pinch runner, great bunter. He can play lots of positions, so I like that.
Yeah.
Again, I just don't want him as a starter.
Right.
Well, you said Bryce Johnson. It's like, oh my god. Would you say C-?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go D.
Yeah. It's just not. There's just nothing there that jumps at you. There's not. When I think of a bench, and again, in fairness, maybe it's because of Bogarts and Tatis are playing regular, then we get a little bit more feel of what the bench really is.
Because then you'd have Peralta on the bench, which makes the bench better.
And you make Solano a bench all the time, and but again, it's not a deep bench, and neither one of those guys are going to scare anybody. We don't. I think the thing about our bench that we really lack is we have no power. We have no pop. You look at last year when Sanchez wasn't catching and he was on the bench. He won a couple of games for us, hitting a home run off the bench.
I wish we would have signed him.
Well, he's hitting about 1 something, so I'm not sure that was.
But he has 13 or 14 homers. I mean,
the bottom line is, I just don't think our bench is a strength, and nobody on there just really scares you. There's not a pinch hitter that you sit there and go, oh wow, I can't. If this guy, if we get in a position, we can bring this guy up.
We don't have a Jay Johnstone, just come out, or Kurt Pavakwa that comes off the
or
bench.
Mark Sweeney,
Mark Sweeney, yes, as a hitting
one
machine.
of the bench pitch hitters all the time.
Manny
Minosa. Manny Minosa. Yeah, Manny Mota.
Yeah. I mean, there used to be guys that's what their job was.
Rusty Staub. Yeah.
Rusty Staub. Yeah, they would come off the bench.
Yeah.
And they would hit.
Yeah, they sure would. Yeah.
I don't know. Because who knows?
Yeah.
But like you said, there's so many injuries in baseball. A lot of, like you said, Peralta and Solano. If they're coming strictly off the bench, then I'm not giving them a D.
Right. Yeah.
I think Wade is, like I said, again, Wade coming off the bench, he can play, and he plays pretty good defense. Yeah. He can play the outfield. He can play first, second, short, third. They even said he's the emergency catcher
Right.
if something happens.
Yeah.
So he's just
Well,
a
he's
jack
the
of all
athlete.
trades.
Yeah, he's the athlete, and that's the one thing the Padres do have is they have a lot of good athletes. Merrill, Cronenworth, and Tatis, and Wade. I mean, these guys are pure athletes. They're not just good baseball players. They were good at other sports and very athletic minded. And I'm not saying the other guys aren't athletic, but not to the degree those guys. They got the speed. They got the power. They're the 5-tool kind of guys, or 4 tools in some cases. But having a lot of athletes always helps because that's what makes Tyler Wade so transitional. He may not be the best at anything, but he's not the worst at everything, and he can play everywhere. Yeah.
He's a faster Tim Flannery.
Yeah.
Just
That's a fair analogy. Yeah, fair analogy.
Overly fast, but he was the guy that I remember.
Plug him into second, short, third, didn't matter.
I think it was Dick Williams asked, "Hey, can you play?" So he goes, "Oh yeah, I played it all the time." He had never played it. He didn't want a chance to play. He wants to play. I go, that's a great attitude, and he can play the guitar.
Yeah.
Let's go to manager Schilt.
I like Mike Schilt. I like his honesty. I like the way he talks. I don't always agree with it, but I like the way he manages. I don't question his bullpen usage nearly as much as I did with Melvin, and definitely not nearly as much as the 2 yahoos that were in front of him.
Yeah.
I think in fairness to him, it's hard to judge his first half because of all the injuries. It's the bottom line is, though, I'll go results. I'm giving him a B. And the reason is because this team has had too many roller coaster rides. And I can understand his patience. I understand that he can't outwardly tell people, hey, yeah, we're sucking right now, or hey, yeah, we're the best in the world. I kind of like a little bit of vim and vigor out of my manager, and I just don't feel like I've seen that out of him. And if that's not his style, then you can't force it, But you brought up Dick Williams, or you bring up some of the fireballs of Bobby Cox and Earl Weaver, where it's like every once in a while they got in somebody's face, or they weren't they throw a bat or knock over a water cooler or whatever, but. And that's, I don't need it just to act tough. I'm just saying, though, to me, it's like, no, be a little pissed off every once in a while. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, we blew that, but no, that happens to all teams. And it's like, no, it does happen to all teams, but I don't want you to hear you say that.
I think the problem now compared to, baseball back in the glory days is the players make so much money.
Yeah.
And they make a lot more money than the managers make. And I think the managers you got so many fragile egos on there, and their egos you can't just go. It's like when when Billy Martin pulled Reggie Jackson out of that game because and he was loafing for that ball.
Right.
He didn't give it 100%. And Billy Martin goes, get out of here. They almost got in a fight in the dugout.
Yeah.
I respect that. And I liked Reggie Jackson growing up. I liked Reggie Jackson. He was fun to watch, but that's what, I watched, Trent Grisham, like a week and a half ago. They're losing big to the Reds, but he falls at center field. He's just loafing in there, and it bounces off his arm and rolls away. And the guy got a double. I got to second base.
Aaron Boone gave him a pass.
Yeah, and he goes, "Well, I go, I would have yanked him out. I would have yanked him out of the game."
Yeah. Aaron Boone gave him a pass and said, "Well, that's just kind of his style, and that happens."
His style.
Yeah.
I know you're losing the game. It's the 9th inning, but at least act like you care.
Yeah.
But that, to me, that's always been Grisham's problem is he's a powder.
Yeah.
He gets moody and stuff like that. But going to manager, I think a B is fair. I'll go B too, because it's not his fault. When you look at the bullpen, you go, hopefully you can get to this inning so I can get Estrada and Flores in there, or Morihone. And they, the guys come in there and they just boom, 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 boom. You gotta go.
And I will say, Jack, and I think maybe we would agree on this, that managing these days is a little tougher than it used to be because even looking at the rotation. So again, right or wrong, used to be 4-man rotations. Pretty much every starter went 7-8 innings. It doesn't matter if they pitch 150 pitches. It didn't really matter. So you only had to use 2 or 3 bullpen guys, and a lot of people that maybe watch our podcast don't realize, but Goose Gossage and Raleigh Fingers used to get 2 and 3 inning saves.
Yeah.
They didn't get. I remember
Well,
the
it
Yankees
used to
when
be,
Yankees had Mark Davis and Goose Gossage, and a lot of times they would pitch 5 innings between them.
Yeah.
And they'd be out there the next day. It's
well,
just
I know in
I think part of it is we're coddling pitchers, but that's a whole nother podcast. But
I know in not Ruben Rivera,
Nebula.
Rivera for the Yankees
Oh.
retires best ever. I'm like, well, of his era.
Yeah.
I said, personally, you got your finger. You go look at the innings they pitch.
Yeah.
150 innings, 160.
Mike Marshall.
Yeah.
Mike Marshall used to pitch 100 or more innings every year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
as a reliever.
And now you see guys get, if they pitch 60 innings.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, he's got 60 innings in him. It's like, okay. When Soares gets a 4-inning set, a 4-out save, you're like going, yeah, it's good. I'm glad he got that. But back in the day, it was like
starting pitchers used to almost have kind of the unwritten rule is 36 starts or 35 starts, and 300 innings. That's what made you a star.
Yeah.
And now we have, I think, maybe 4 or 5 guys go over 200 innings each year.
Yeah.
200.
That's why you don't see as many 20-game winners.
Yeah.
Like you said, 3,000 in the next couple of years, nobody's going to get 3,000 strikeouts.
Yeah.
They're not going to pitch enough. They're not going to get. I go back to Randy Jones in 1976. He had 25 complete games.
Yeah.
Now again, he blew out his arm.
Yeah.
But he had 25 complete games. I guarantee you, anyone starting today over their career will not have 25 complete games.
Yeah, and I mean, again, we're not just talking Hall of Famers here. We're talking, the regular, the regular guys would just go out there and 200 innings was just you blow past that. And none of your starters just only threw 200 innings.
No.
Like you said, and look, there's a lot of doctors out there that probably know better than I do because I'm sure not one, but. I think a lot of it has to do with, as I've said before, I'm a golfer, and Tiger Woods brought in this whole nother era, and with it came back injuries. Because if you ever watch Tiger swing he gives it 110% every time, and now he's got all these major back problems and has had them for years, and now all these younger guys that have emulated him and are having back problems. And why? Because they're just torquing the crap out of themselves.
Well,
and
that's what
I say the same thing with the pitchers. The pitchers are doing the same thing. They're out there throwing 100 miles an hour. It was a big deal when Nolan Ryan got clocked at 100 miles an hour. He was the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Now 100 is like, okay.
Yeah.
You threw 100, big deal.
Yeah.
But I think what's going on too is with travel baseball and because, like I said, I played other sports, but I was always throwing a ball.
Right.
And my arm, by the time I was 12, was toast. I mean, I just throw, but I just kept playing because I figured out another way to throw with just my wrist. Anyway, I think these kids with travel ball, they're playing year round. Like in San Diego, you can play year round. The weather's 70 degrees in the wintertime. And these kids your arm is not made to throw. That's
right.
Now they're saying the pitch clock could be a factor and this and that. I go, yeah, I guess it could because you're not getting that rest in between. But like I said,
I just always wonder 20 years from now, are we going to have 6-man rotations and,
I think we will.
And 30-man rosters where you have, 15 pitchers. Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to have to because the pitchers are, they're breaking down a 6-man rotation. And like I said, records that, obviously was it Cy Young or who has the 511 wins?
Cy Young.
Cy Young.
Yeah.
Obviously that was never going to be caught.
Yeah. Well, he's pitching every other day. Yeah.
Yeah. But you have guys that are, there's 300 wins. No way.
Yeah.
There's no chance. They don't pitch long enough. They don't have to pitch long enough because if they're really good, they make so much money.
Yeah.
You got like Scherzer and Verlander, they're pitching because they love the game, but you got pitchers like by the time they're 34, 35, like, why am I pitching? My arm hurts,
Yeah.
I've got $300 million in the bank. I've won a World Series. I get, why, what do I
I'll
have
become
to
a
do?
sportscaster. Yeah.
Yeah, and make even more money. Like Tom Brady.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, we got to get to our last one here, Mr. AJ
Well, I got
Preller.
two. The farm system general manager.
All right.
I'll let you go first.
I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. If the Padres do not just make the playoffs, but don't make a serious dent, it's time for another GM. I see so many people on your favorite X and all over the place defending this guy like somebody posted yesterday 75% of the players in the All-Star game have either been drafted, traded, or played for AJ Preller. Is that a good thing? Does that mean anything? Because you've traded them, and the drafted part, yes. But then again, it's not like you're on an island and you just go get to handpick guys. These are all guys everybody had a chance to go get, and sometimes you're lucky you get the right spot in the draft and you get the guy that you want. So I'm not, I guess you got to determine success somehow. But to not go too long, here's my take on AJ Preller. 11th year, 2 trips to the playoffs, 1 fantastic year. Other than that, 500 club. It's time to give the reins to somebody else. I'm going to give him a C- because right now, by his expectations, not mine, his expectations, we are underperforming.
Oh, definitely. I look at more at it's not his drafting, because the drafting is he's drafts talent. He knows how to draft talent. I was what was it? It was ESPN or Major League Baseball. They had a list of every team's number 1 picks since 1965. That's when the draft started, and the Yankees went to decline because they just couldn't do the bonus baby thing. This still, you guys know, Yankees have never won unless they could outspend anybody. Just throwing it out there. But
for those random Yankee fans that are watching a Padre,
yeah, I'm just getting a little dig. But that some of those drafts, you go, oh my, and there was like a 10-year stretch where it was like, that guy didn't do anything. That guy didn't do anything. That guy was a bust. It was a bust. He knows how to draft. He knows how to get talent. He doesn't know how to trade. Yeah. He doesn't know how to trade. I think and people will say, oh well, he trades a lot because he knows he's confident he'll rebuild the farm system, which he, for the most part, does. It's hurting right now because a lot of trades. But like his trade to Seattle for Nola, and the 2 relievers, that killed us. If we had Munoz, Ty Francis, solid player, be a good role player. But not having Munoz, can you imagine how good the bullpen would be with him?
And you kind of bring up some interesting points too, Jack, because it gets me to thinking. It's like you can almost grade the GM on the 3 different avenues, right? How's he doing with the draft? That's number 1. How's he doing with the trade? That's number 2. And how does he do with free agency? That's number 3. Yeah. And if you really kind of look at it, they're really 3 separate categories. I'll challenge you on the draft. Yes, there's been a few drafts that he's done well. The guys like C.J. Abrams and Woods, we'll find out. But
Max Fried.
There's been a few that have come up that you sit there and say, okay, yeah, that would have been good. The problem is these guys that he drafted, and then he trades the good ones. And then you go to the free agency, and I'm just being honest. Most of the free agent signings have not really worked out to the degree you wanted them to. Did they step ladder us to Machado, who seems to be legitimate, right? He's had 5 years now, 6 years.
That's a good signing. I don't care what anyone says.
Some good things. I'm the wrong guy to ask whether a guy's worth $30 million a year, because I don't know if anybody is. But even the Myers and the Hosmer training signings were a stepladder to get us to where Machado wanted to join this club, kind of thing. But some of the other free agencies, like, okay, so who else? I mean, who else is he trade? And the problem is that he seems to have this expertise of getting guys in the last year of their contract or signing them to a 1-year contract. And to me, if you were savvy,
with opt out,
yeah, if you were savvy, you wouldn't sign these guys to 1-year contracts if you really felt that well about yourself. And a couple of examples that come to me is he's Matt Carpenter for 2 years for $14 million.
Yeah, it's a brutal one.
I mean,
and he didn't have a great year the year before.
Yeah. And to sit here and tell me that this is the third time around for Profar, that this was a selection that Preller, like, I really need this. No, this was a fallback. Like, okay, well, I guess we'll sign Profar,
and it worked. I mean,
it worked.
But again, it's like
yeah.
It just felt. It's like.
Did he start the off season going after Profar? No.
He wanted Fam.
Right. So that's why I hear all the. It just kind of reminds me, if you throw enough darts, you're going to hit the board, and Preller to me just has almost an obnoxious obsession with trading. And yeah, if you throw enough darts at the board, you're going to hit one every once in a while. But I think the people that he's let walk away, the people that he has traded, are well above what he's kept or gotten.
I would say overall, yeah, because Cleveland, we ended up getting Waldron out of the trade, but Clevenger was a bust. And you gave up Josh Naylor, Cal Quantrill, who has been good except for Colorado.
From El Reyes, which at that time was before DH, which you probably wouldn't have made that trade for Naylor or Reyes if you'd known the DH was coming.
Right. But I think some of the trades, I'm going to say, like the Soto trade, and I still like it. I mean, I still think it worked out because we did get a couple good pitchers back from the Yankees, but also it built a rabid fan base. The fan base is there because of that, and I'm sure Seidler was going, "Hey, we got to go for it. I want you to go for it."
And I think there's some of that too. I'm not going to deny that I think that a lot of it was Seidler saying, "Go spend, go spend, go spend." My problem is that if you trade for Soto, you damn well better be saying, "I'm going to keep him. I'm going to keep him the whole time."
Again, Seidler dying.
Yeah. Maybe that changed that.
I think,
but I'm not hinging a whole lot on that because I was just excited as you. So I'm not gonna. I cannot be the Monday morning quarterback. I just refuse to do that. But I just grade it on as an overall through the years, not just even recently, that a lot of these trades just haven't worked out, and we've let a lot of great players walk away.
Oh yeah.
And the one that really just gnaws at me more than anything right now is the Lugo. Letting Lugo walk.
Oh yeah. Because you had him.
I know we were restricted on money, but geez, find some way. Find a creative way to keep him.
Again, you were smart enough to sign this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
As a reliever. And again, I'll be honest, when they said he was going to make him, I go, a starter? When has he ever started? I look back, I go, he's had no success as a starter. He's a good seventh, 6-7 guy in the bullpen. And he came over here and boom, and he's having a good year, and he made the All-Star team.
Right.
So you got to give him credit for that. Was it his fault the money wasn't there? Yeah, because he paid too much for Carpenter.
There you go. Because there's the whole package. You just said it in a nutshell, Jack. You're a manager of money too, and you decided to spend $300 million to go get Bogarts, and nothing against Bogarts, like him as a player, but you spent that much money. When me and my son talked about this nonstop, you could have gotten 3 really good pitchers for that money.
Yeah.
3 really good pitchers. You could have signed 3 guys to $100 million deals for 4 or 5 years, whatever you're picking, and you chose it to get another shortstop that we did.
Yeah, again, I think I still say it was done to make because Bogarts had he was coming, he was on track for the Hall of Fame before he came here. Who knows?
It makes no difference though if you get what you had another 300 hitter.
No, I'm just saying. I think that they were doing was saying, okay, hey, we're going to push. This will keep Tatis in the outfield because I don't
Yeah.
think they wanted him playing shortstop. But
Yeah.
again, like you said, I was like going, well, you could have signed at that time. I was like going, oh, we got tons of money. We're just because it was 2 or 3 years there. It was like Christmas every day. It was
Yeah.
like, okay,
Exactly.
yeah. Oh, we got money. We're gonna go get Ohtani next. I'm seriously, that's how I thought but then all of a sudden Seidler dies. Now this guy comes in. Oh, we don't have any money. We got to reset the. I'm like, oh no, that was fun. But yeah, I agree. I think as far as judging talent, I'd have to give an A. It's his trading that again, I don't know the behind the scenes thing because I know they really wanted Trey Turner.
Mm-hmm.
Really wanted Trey Turner. And Trey Turner finally told Seidler, please stop tempting me.
Right.
I can't do it. My wife doesn't want to live on the
I don't want to say no to you again.
I don't want to say no to you again because I respect you.
Yeah.
Get Trey Turner. I don't think we're complaining at all because Trey Turner, is
I don't know. Maybe we wouldn't been as easy, believe it or not, as the Philly fans who weathered the storm with him in his first half, and he came out and said, "I suck," and they came and gave him a standing ovation, and he took off from there. But hey, look, I know we're getting close on time. So, what's your outlook for?
We didn't see the billions of death threats they were sending to him too. So I'll give Preller a C, but I'm with you. If we don't make the playoffs, he's got to go.
Yeah,
something's got to. You got to come in, and but you can't go out there and get some nobody.
Yeah,
you have to get. Theo Epstein's out there, right?
Yeah,
bring him back.
I'm not sure. Yeah. That's a whole other one. I don't have another guy in my mind because I don't know. I don't have the knowledge base to know what GM was waiting out there.
I don't want to bring in some guy that's a nobody. I mean, I would okay with a Kevin Towers type guy because Kevin Towers did it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think and that's the other thing. We talk about Preller and I talk about those three things. The one thing I didn't mention is he pretty much, in my opinion, until Schilt, he sucks at finding managers because. He tried to, Green and Tingler, who had never managed a game in their life in the major leagues, and they failed miserably. That's on him.
Yeah,
that's on him.
Well,
so
I think the problem is it's almost like general managers. There's a lot of general managers out there that have ego. I think he's hard. I think he is because Melvin. Seems like he's. I don't think he's a great manager. I think he's a good manager, but. He seems like he gets along with everybody, and he didn't get along with Preller.
No, it kind of reminds me of Moneyball.
Yeah.
The Art Howe Billy Bean thing where it's like, you're not going to tell me what lineup to put in there and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
If I hire a manager, but I think he wanted guys that he could control.
Yeah, exactly.
And that doesn't work. You need to hire the best manager available and let him manage the team.
Yeah.
Boom. Anyway. And farm system real quick.
Farm system has been unheard of. I will give credit to Merrill coming out of the farm system and Estrada not really being in our farm system, but coming out of a farm system. I don't think anything special. I mean, Merrill himself would be an A+, but outside of him, no, I don't think it's been very effective because we don't have one right now. I think it's still growing. And, we talked about it too much, until it gets full again. I don't know. It's confusing. I get a headache just thinking about like, okay, which guys are going to be here at this time next year and which guys are, going to be on some other team and becoming all-stars. And, meanwhile, we've got some guy that's going to supposedly, rocket us up to the World Series. So.
Yeah. Like I said, Merrill is definitely an A+. But other than that, they're struggling because they don't have, there's no pitcher down there they can bring up right now. It's like, how do we not? Oh, that's right. We traded all of them. And again, that's where I'd give his trades probably an F.
Yeah.
Because you have to save something for a rainy day, and he didn't do it. People are going to get hurt, like we said. But it's got to be a D-.
Yeah. There's nothing there. I mean,
there's down the road, there's some guys that I hope he doesn't trade.
It's kind of, I think for my last thought, I know you gotta jump off here pretty soon. So here's my last thought on the farm system. I see and watch other teams talking about this guy's about ready to come up and all the excitement about bringing this guy up and this guy and that guy. And we don't have that guy. Our guys are 2 or 3 years away. And that would be fine if it weren't a microcosm of the San Diego Padre farm system year in, year out. We're always 2 to 3 years away. And we never get any closer because we trade them off before they even get close.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Jake Peavy, last guy. I mean, before Merrill, last guy that was of any significance to me to the Padres. I'm not talking about somebody who came up and became an okay player. I'm talking about a star or somebody that really drove us the right direction.
I think we talked about it last week when Merrill won Rookie of the Month. Mm-hmm. It was the first time since 2004 when Xavier Nady did it.
Right.
I go, we're not talking about Rookie of the Year. We're talking. Yeah. I go
1 month.
You went 20 years for one guy to win Rookie of the Month.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
I mean, they had some good. I mean, Khalil Green, obviously he didn't win it, but it's like you had some good guys. But you should be able to have. I mean, a month. You should be have a guy that catches fire. But I'm glad we got Merrill. I'm glad he didn't trade Merrill.
Yeah.
I know there was times he was thinking about doing it. And I was like, well,
hasn't traded him yet.
Yeah, not Merrill. The kid can hit, and he just loved his swing. I said, no. And it's like, what is it? Homer Bush Jr. It's got like 42 stolen bases in the minors.
Yeah,
I follow his mom on Twitter, and she posts his stats every day. I mean, he's at low, A ball, but still,
right.
He's got speed. You can't.
Well, let's agree to let the future get brighter before we even think about making a decision. And I understand the game. If you trade a guy at A ball and maybe even double A, you're kind of saying, well, you're taking the chance on this guy and you're giving me somebody proven right now. But he's going to make it. This team has got to stay younger. We've got enough old guys.
Yeah.
Coming from an old guy, we've got enough old guys. We've got enough veteran experience.
It hurts you financially. That's how.
Yeah.
That's how you're able. The only way I've said it 1,000 times we can compete with the Dodgers because we can't compete with them financially.
Yeah,
is we have to build a farm system.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, he's going to make a trade, and we're going to be like,
cross my fingers.
I
really am.
I'm hoping it's just like that Freedy guy from Chicago, just like some guy that's been around for a while.
Some middle of the bullpen guy. Yeah.
I don't need to have a superstar where you trade 7 guys because you're just going to set the team back.
It's a bad year to do it because you're not even guaranteed to make the playoffs. It's a different. Right. The difference would be if you were 10 games in front of the wild card and you're like, okay, we're going to be in the playoffs. Yeah.
Or if you're in first place ahead of the Dodgers at this point.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, this was fun. Great conversation. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. See you in San Diego here in a couple of days.
Be out there Saturday in San Diego.
San Diego.
All
right. Well, our compadre Jay will be back with us next week. And I guess we're still doing a show, even though we're all out here.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Sounds good.
Just be in different rooms.
There you go.
Yeah, go Dodgers. Go Dodgers.
Yeah. Change your channel. Change the channel. All right, Jack.
Anyway, we're out of here. Bye, everybody.
Bye.